What's up, weeps? Welcome back to Anime Lane. As always, I'm Notorious. Joining me once again today is Shaun.
Hi.
And Melina.
Hello.
Why'd you sound so scared?
I fear what is to come.
Same.
Okay, why?
Because I feel like we're all kind of losing it.
Yeah, and there's still another episode after this one.
Dark clouds are forming.
And we're going to try to be coherent, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we've been away for a while in person.
We're getting reused to
You're going to be hearing that all month. I apologize.
Getting reused to being in the same room.
And so that means we actually really haven't been, like, in private we've been talking about, like, what we've been up to and what we've been watching and stuff, but, like, we haven't done a podcast episode on it in a while. Because, like, the back and forth just doesn't fit for a online recording of stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be catching up on what our media diet has been recently. So I don't know who wants to...
I don't want to go first.
Okay, have you had much of a media diet recently? I feel like you haven't been watching
not as much as you guys, so I guess I could just go first just to get it out of the way, but like... I do have some things to talk about. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine finally.
Oh yeah.
Like, I watched it as well. So
you guys were telling me to watch. You're telling me to watch it first, and then you watched it. And I was like, oh.
I mean,
I gotta watch it first.
like you said, I'm gonna go watch it in cinema when it came out,
and then I still watched it before him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, usually because I watch Marvel movies with like my mom specifically, and she really likes the Deadpool movies. I'm not sure if I've ever said that on the podcast, but she loves those movies. Which is surprising when you'd meet her because she doesn't seem like the kind of person that would love those movies.
It's just Ryan Reynolds, man.
I feel like that was half of it.
Yep.
And we were gonna see Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters, but then like things kept happening, like stuff got in the way. It just didn't happen, and I didn't want to watch it like first without her.
Yeah.
So it was basically just trying to find the right time to like where we'd both be able to just watch it. It was basically the Christmas break and New Year sort of thing that happened, and I really wish I had watched it earlier.
Yeah.
Great movie. But
Yeah.
I don't think any of us is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. It's exactly what it tries to be. It's a fun little good time.
Yeah.
On its own, it is a fine movie. As a love letter to all like the Fox like movies and even just the other Marvel movies that were outside of the MCU at that point, it is kind of a masterpiece to me. And like the fan in me would say.
Yeah, like I think they really put an emphasis on like we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna get people that want to come in on this, and we're just gonna have a grand old time.
Which, incidentally, kind of makes it the best of the multiverse films.
Yeah, it is by far the best Marvel movie I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, like it just utilizes all the stuff they've set up like far better than any of the actual
100%, and even you did some things that no one ever thought would happen.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Finally being Gambit.
How to make a name of myself.
How to make a name of myself, yeah.
Because he never
There's no
appeared.
pause in that sentence.
No, there's not.
He never appeared in anything as
No.
Gambit. No, it was just production hell. We all knew he really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So for
Why? I really don't know.
The only Gambit we got in any of the movies, I think, was like a cameo in Origins Wolverine.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's it.
And it was terrible. Well, it
was Wolverine.
It was such a small part. I can't even say it was terrible.
Yeah.
But the whole movie wasn't great. So.
But I think that is, to me, one of the biggest like fan servicey things, or just Channing servicey.
I just wanted that Channing Tatum.
Yeah, no, like, not even for me, for him. I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm so proud you made it. Oh
But like a little bit for you.
Yeah.
It's surprising some of the people they managed to get back to play their roles. Like
the people that managed to get Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill as a Wolverine in there.
That entire montage, sorry,
Uh-huh.
just to like go off a little again. That entire montage of all the different Wolverines was just such a.
Wow.
It made me so happy to see all those versions of Wolverine you wouldn't think you'd ever get.
Yeah.
You got comic accurate Short King Wolverine, X-Men X-Crucified Wolverine from one of the fucking comic covers from the 90s. Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, who's got the fucking 90s metalhead hair and like one hand. And of course, Cavalry.
Cavalry.
Yeah, that came out of. I knew it because of spoilers online, of course.
Know.
But it's still seeing it, I was like, oh, this carries no weight on the story, but am I fucking here for it?
Yeah, like I it's so cool. Would I want to see him play Wolverine? Fuck no, but it's still cool.
It's just because, when people fan cast someone, and it's like, yeah, they have the looks, but like, I don't think they could carry that performance.
Yeah.
Cavill and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cavill could pull the performance. I just don't want him as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Going forward, not anything wrong with him. I think he's completely fine. It's just I want a Wolverine that's just a tiny little gremlin, man.
Yeah.
I do want that comic accurate short.
Danny DeVito.
Yes.
You've just got to cast Danny DeVito as Wolverine.
Exactly. I would genuinely love that.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't do that in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
But like they got Elektra. Not Cameron Diaz?
No.
Cameron Diaz. I don't know
Jennifer
her name.
Garner.
Jennifer Garner back as Elektra, which is insane.
I did
like,
not expect that in a million years.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't get like Ben Affleck or someone to turn up.
I had to
real
think it
quick.
had to been scheduled.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't have fond memories of the
Yeah,
the
that's
Daredevil
true.
movie, which I wouldn't blame him.
No, and I don't think he would do it on a personal vendetta, but going through a divorce.
Oh,
He
yeah.
used to date his kid.
Yeah.
It's a bit, but I'm assuming they could have been mature about it if they wanted to.
Like they didn't need to necessarily appear in a scene together, but
No.
like him as Daredevil would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a serviceable story.
Yeah.
There's some underlying personal things that made it into the film that I'm like, we maybe didn't need to put that in there. Like the whole Nice Pill storyline
Yeah.
is a bit iffy when you know what's going on with
Yeah, but
like
what
Justin
I don't Baldoni.
Baldoni.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that drama. We will maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Because like there's still so much going on. I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening. Lawsuits and everything. I don't think he is fully based on Justin
No,
Baldoni.
but
Like, could he have noticed bits and pieces of like, I think that'd be fun to write into this character coincidentally.
Yeah.
I don't think that character is meant to be there. It was like, you
no, because it was
Like a subliminal thinking.
Yeah.
it was
Situation.
being filmed at the time. It ends. But it ends with us. Is
It
that
ends with us.
Was also like being filmed. So there's like
Yeah.
no way that he wrote that with him
No,
in mind.
And I remember Deadpool was filming during writer's strike, so they could do no rewrites, like on set because in solidarity with the writer's strike.
Yeah.
So that character must have,
Yeah.
unless that's something they did in reshoots afterwards. But I don't think
I'd
so.
fully taken it as just like a nod to Ryan Reynolds and like his sort of rom-com.
Yeah.
There's a rom-com. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I mean, they fill up, say, the proposal at one point. It's just like
Yep.
him just staring at the camera and saying that, and then actual Deadpool's like, "Bitch, that's what you think I do." So I took it as that. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know about the drama until like way after I watched the movie. So
Yeah.
No, but that's only been recent. The whole time that's not fair. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Deadpool and Wolverine's
Yeah.
fun
Chris
movie.
Evans.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
as
one of the
Johnny
best
Storm.
parts.
Fuck yeah.
yeah. That I think is the best cameo because they were able to do a full misdirect with it.
Yeah. You think it's going to be Cap, and then it's
They even have like the
it's-
red on like his like
Yeah.
arms to make you think it's the Captain America
Yeah.
suit.
No, and even Deadpool himself being like, "Yeah, see the thing." Is like, what? No,
Flame
we're
on!
supposed to assemble. Yeah. That I think.
My inner 5-year-old got
Me
a rush
too.
of joy with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I loved the 2005 Fantastic Four movie as a kid because I had all the toys and I had the video games.
Yeah.
And I loved Johnny Storm specifically in those movies as well. So that was a nice little love letter to me personally.
Yeah. I also think like 10 years of Cap. It's nice seeing Chris Evans cast like against that type where he's just like a foul mouth
Yeah.
dickhead.
That
and
used to be his default, but then
Yeah.
that happened, and now he's like the wise, older, like positive masculinity,
Yeah.
like archetype.
Yeah.
And now he gets to be a dickhead again.
Yeah. it
Which is
must
one of the
be
great
so
things about
nice.
like Knives Out coming out like right in between everything is that it was like that nice kind of palate cleanse of that Chris Evans appearance because like it's so overwhelming the amount of MCU stuff
Absolutely.
and how dominant it's been, and it's only now like after everything's fallen to shit that you can look back and go, wow, that's a lot.
100% it affects your career so much, and you're gonna be like typecast in certain ways
Yes.
because you're just your face is what your character stands for. Like,
yeah, like he is Captain America.
Exactly.
His Twitter handle's literally not Captain America.
Yeah.
God, what a movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Anyway, but because of that movie, I ended up sort of half rewatching all the X-Men movies again. I say half rewatching as like it was background noise.
Yeah.
Basically, I won't say it was my full attention, but I basically rewatched just all of them again after like the first time I watched them all in a marathon back in like 2021, I think. First time, and it's such a hit or miss franchise.
Yeah.
I love it as a whole, and watching those movies made me like fall in love with the X-Men universe, just like in the comics and everything. But boy, are those movies hit or miss. Because you've got the first two, which are generally, I mean, they've aged a little bit because they're very early 2000s comic book movies, but they're still great times.
Yeah.
You've still got like good stories and stuff. You've still got Patrick Stewart, obviously, as like the best Professor X.
Yeah.
Sorry, McAvoy.
Hey.
I'd like McAvoy. He's just not Patrick.
He's not
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Like, you can't top Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, but as a younger version, who else would you want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Patrick
it's still.
Stewart in a wig.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, de-aged.
No, just put a wig on him.
I wouldn't mind McAvoy coming back if they wanted to do that. I don't think they will in the MCU, but if it was an option, I wouldn't mind it. Same with Fassbender.
Yeah.
Magneto, Ian McKellen.
Oh.
Who disappears in that role
Yeah.
completely. Like, I don't see Gandalf
No.
at all. And I remember watching them for the first time thinking, am I just gonna see Gandalf whenever I see Ian McKellen? But no.
No, he really does just become Magneto.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, it's insane that sometimes you get these actors that without makeup or anything, because he just looks like that,
Yeah.
you know? And, you know, Gandalf, he looks that certain way, but you see him and you're like, no, I can tell that he's Magneto. Like, that's just, he's giving off an aura.
Yeah, it's the face, it's the hair, sometimes the helmet. And then Last Stand happens, and it gets too stupid. I mean, the other films could be a little stupid, but it got too stupid. That fucking Cure plot line, along with the Dark Phoenix stuff, in the same movie.
They've just got to stop trying to do Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Stop trying to do it in one movie. It doesn't fit in one movie.
Yeah.
That's like a whole thing you set up, and they tried to set it up in X2, but like only briefly. And then in the last movie, they're like, yeah, but we also want to do the Cure plot line at the same time, so the whole movie gets like muddled.
Yeah.
And then Xavier dies, but then he comes back in a post-credits scene as his twin brother, who's been brain dead since he was born, but kept alive just in case.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ.
That's why he's alive in the other ones.
Oh, I hate that.
I never forget it because it's so fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Then Origins Wolverine happens, where the best part of that movie ends after the opening credits are done.
I don't mind it, but I think it's because I watched it when I was like 15.
I think if I watched it as a kid, I'd probably have a soft spot for it, but having not had that experience,
Yeah, I seen it when it came out. I don't know what age I would have been at that point.
2009, I think.
12?
12. Well, that's perfect age.
Still didn't like it.
Oh, well, fuck.
But I didn't like Last Stand either.
Oh, well, someone really fucked up.
Yeah. If a 12-year-old walks out of a superhero movie without going, wow!
Yeah.
You fucked up.
Like, I still did that for Man of Steel, even though I don't like that movie anymore.
Yeah.
It is, I will say, it is less of a pain with just the Deadpool stuff, because I forgot Deadpool was in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
Except it's not actually Deadpool.
No.
It's generic mercenary number 5 played by Ryan Reynolds, who then gets his mouth shut
Yeah.
because
they didn't know what to do with Deadpool.
I'm gonna be honest, it feels like the studio just hated the character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because they wanted to keep it so PG,
Yeah.
they felt like we can't have him
Yeah.
here.
So we'll pay like the barest lip service and then make him Baraka from Mortal Kombat with laser eyes.
With
Oh,
those
yeah.
eyes.
Oh.
But then it gets good again with First Class.
Yep, yeah.
So
yeah.
we hit a slump, and then it gets good again with First Class, and we have what we just talked about with like McAvoy and like Fassbender and stuff. Part of me still wishes it was purely a Magneto movie, just hunting Nazis, because those are the best scenes in the movie. But there's only like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. Who's it that plays Mystique in that movie again?
Jennifer Lawrence.
That's it. That's right.
And this is the only one she gives a shit in.
Yeah, I was gonna say like she's really good in this one, and then the rest of them.
Yeah, she put her all in this one, and then Hunger Games happened the year after, and she realized she didn't need to do X-Men anymore. But she still came back. I don't know why.
Money.
Yeah, probably.
Money.
Kevin Bacon is surprisingly good as the villain.
That's right. I forgot he was the villain in that one.
I didn't know Kevin Bacon could do evil very well.
He is actually a really good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched Crazy Stupid Love yesterday. He's David Lynch in that, and boy.
You just full name drop that character.
Yeah,
okay.
you must really like him.
No, it's a running thing throughout because main character's wife cheats with David Lindhagen, so he's constantly mentioning fucking David fucking Lindhagen. But yeah, Kevin Bacon. Go on, Shaun.
Stop giving me the mic. But that First Class is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Wolverine, I think, happens afterwards.
Yeah. It's the Wolverine and then Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for that one.
I like the Wolverine.
I feel like the general consensus of Wolverine is just it's sort of mid.
Yeah. I mean, it appeals to me in the sense of like a bunch of it takes place in Japan.
It's Yakuza.
Yeah, it's Yakuza.
It's Yakuza.
And then they have a big mech fight at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, talk about appealing to me solely as an audience member.
I can get down with that. The main girl's cute. And a good character, I should stress.
No.
I actually don't remember what she looks like, so I'm just...
Wolverine's like a pretty good one, but then Days of Future Past happens, and that's another really good one, and then they nosedive again.
I like Days of Future Past. I think it's maybe a little overrated. I
kinda
prefer
get that.
First Class.
Yeah, I get that. I think Days of Future Past is really well as like it feels like a culmination movie. Like a mini sort of X-Men version of Endgame. Almost, where like it combines the two timelines at that point into one. It gives us more closure. It feels like it gives us more closure on Logan, even though we wouldn't get full closure for another 3 years. It's basically seeing all the characters from the trilogy just reappear again for basically one last stand. I think, is it Days of Future Past that's the last one that has Halle Berry as Storm?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because she didn't come back in Apocalypse.
No, because it was a younger version at that point. So it was nice seeing just all those versions of those characters get one last like goodbye.
Yeah.
So that's a good movie. And then technically Deadpool happens next, but Deadpool movies are their own thing. Then Apocalypse happens.
That's the one, and Dark Phoenix. I haven't seen those two.
You haven't
you're
even
not missing.
seen. Wow.
You're not missing much.
Nah.
I soft spot for Apocalypse.
I saw the opening scene and was like, yeah.
Never mind.
Never
Fair.
Apocalypse is it's mid.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fine.
kind of.
Yeah, if you're watching them all, you might as well. But
Yeah. Oscar Isaac is nice as Apocalypse. I think he's not done as well as he could have been. He doesn't feel as big as I think the movie tried to make him out. It sucks that like the biggest thing I can always remember of his plotline. The only thing I can really remember about his performance is just that one scene where he touches the TV and goes learning. It's a full shot, like his eyes go like white and stuff, but it's really funny.
It's really funny that Oscar Isaac is like a fantastic actor, and yet he keeps getting cast in like terrible projects.
I feel like at some point he has to be doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
hey, Moon Knight.
I liked Moon Knight, but
There's
also,
a few very good episodes in
Yeah.
there.
But I also just think that that's like a weird career move.
Yeah, true.
I feel like Oscar Isaac. I feel like he's a cool dude, but there's a part of his brain that doesn't work quite as well, that he hides well.
Yeah.
But it causes him to make weird decisions.
Because he was in what was it?
No offense to him.
Ex Machina.
Yes,
His
fantastic.
best film.
Absolutely.
Because then there was Force Awakens, obviously the whole Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
which,
he picked Star Wars, which fair enough, has burned him from the franchise, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think he said so. But then he's went on a mission to be in every Marvel universe possible.
Yeah. It's like, why'd you keep doing it, dude? You keep getting cast in the weird bits.
Yeah, the only good one is the one where he's animated.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, all I can think about with Apocalypse is that scene where he's just going Lenny like that, and the Quicksilver scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I like that Quicksilver scene more than the Days of Future Past one.
I have seen that scene actually.
I don't know how much of it is just because it's playing Sweet Dreams, but
Yeah.
that's a great. Genuinely, you could have had a whole movie with just Quicksilver.
Yeah.
That would have been better than Apocalypse.
But
they got bald Professor X, James McAvoy, at the end, and I feel like that was what it was all about at the end.
they were really setting up for another one at that point, and then
Yeah.
they went into Dark Phoenix, which
Yes,
is
they
just
did.
you gotta question why.
Thankfully, the next one after that was Logan,
Yay!
Yeah, it was actually Logan.
and Logan is a masterpiece.
Yes.
Completely disconnected from everything else.
Nothing to do with the other X-Men films.
You can make some hints that, I mean, they give some lip service to like Battle of the Statue of Liberty, which is a reference to the first movie. So you can imagine similar events happen to what happened in the main timeline, but it stands a lot better on its own.
Yeah.
There was even like, I think I read somewhere that the X-24 clone was originally going to be like Sabretooth,
Oh, okay.
like from like Origins Wolverine, and like play off of that. But like eventually they just decided it's better to just have him as like just like have this more standalone than anything. So they just made him a clone, and that works just as well.
Yeah.
Xavier dying still gets me. I don't want to comment on it too much because I'll start crying. The entire movie's depressing as hell, but like it's a cathartic sort of depressing, if that makes any sense. Like you go through it to feel better at the end. Then Dark Phoenix is the biggest pile of dog shit I've ever seen. I watched it again genuinely like yesterday, just in between what we were supposed to watch for like the podcast, and just I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off. It was soul sucking.
I saw the trailer in the theaters ahead of whatever other films were out at the time, and I saw the who they had cast as Jean Grey.
Okay.
And that put me off the whole thing completely, because she was great. I can't remember her name. Sophie Turner. She was really good in Game of Thrones when she was young, and then as she got older, I don't know what it is. I just don't think she aged into a good actress.
I think the writing, it doesn't help that the writing sort of collapsed.
Yeah.
In the later seasons, but like.
And then she went into Dark Phoenix, which just as badly written. Yeah. So
to be fair, she was in Apocalypse first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we had fair warning.
I don't think she was in much of the promotional material, so I didn't know she was in Apocalypse until.
No. I didn't know until I started watching Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But so I think what really hurts her is that the writing in Got sort of collapsed, and then I called it Got. Then she sort of got into like a state of mind where like every time she acts, she's just stiff as a board.
Yeah.
Like she's the most wooden character in that show by the end, and that just sort of translated into Jean Grey, which is not what you want for Jean Grey.
No.
And she's the main character in Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
She's not built up well enough in Apocalypse to carry a main character role like that. It was just a bad idea from the start.
It's weird because Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix even contradict each other in how they set up the Dark Phoenix thing. 'Cause if I remember right, the end of Apocalypse has her sort of tapping into like the extreme parts of like her powers, and that's sort of like a hint of the Dark Phoenix coming through, because you see her eyes sort of glow a little bit. Then Dark Phoenix starts, and like none of that is addressed.
Yeah.
And instead
No,
they go
of
to
course.
space, and she gets Fantastic Four into being the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
It genuinely feels like Dark Phoenix is its own timeline again, with just the same actors.
Yeah.
I don't like it, and it makes you really happy that the franchise is done at that point.
Yeah.
It's over. Stop with Logan. To be picked up in Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's basically what I've been watching. All my other media consumption has just been video games.
Yeah.
And I don't want to turn this into another gaming episode.
Very much thankful.
Melina looks very thankful.
We've done so many at this point, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
We've
no,
done so many in a
save
row.
it.
That's the thing.
Yeah, just
Because
save
it's
it
just
for
been
next
me and Shaun.
Yeah. Check out the Resident Evil and Silent Hill videos. We don't tangent for too much.
By the time this is out, though, the Stellar Blade episode will also dropped, which, you know,
I forgot we did that.
so did
Wow.
I. Very good 7 out of 10, if that's any help. It's actually the title of the episode. I couldn't think of anything else.
Fair. Anyway, that's me done.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, punch the microphone while you're done.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
That's how much I hate Dark Phoenix.
I don't know. I've now been watching a lot of stuff for uni, so it's a lot of
Yeah.
like currently I'm watching Decalogue, which is a Polish show about the 10 Commandments.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot.
Is that Decalogue like a literal translation of 10 commandments?
Yes. Ish. It's like yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it's just
yeah.
you. I heard Decalogue now. That sounds familiar. You said 10 commandments, and my brain went,
Oh yeah, that's
is that a linguistic
yeah, no,
weird
like
thing?
the title of the show is like Decalogue.
Yeah.
And then every episode goes over one of the 10 Commandments. And they're all an hour.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
The 10 commandments are only like a line each.
Gotta make a whole story out
yeah,
of them.
and like
Christians.
it's very like I think some episodes are really good and some are just fucking boring. Like the first one is like thou shalt not praise another but your God, yada yada, and they talk about, you know, as 1989 does, computer bad. Yeah.
So of course, when you hear the first commandment, your first instinct's gonna be misinformation on
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah.
Not even the internet.
Yeah.
No, but like the whole plot of that is just, oh, Dad, can I go skate on the ice? And it's like, I don't know, son, let me ask the computer.
This ice is looking pretty thin.
And they do like their fancy math calculations because he's a math teacher. And like they call the meteorologist office to get the ground temperatures, and they put the calculations into a computer, and then Dad says, well, the calculations say it's good, you can go skate. Get you can probably guess what fucking happens.
See, the moral lesson is easy to understand when you make all the characters fucking idiots.
Yeah. Can I ski? Yeah, let me contact the meteorologist office.
Let me get the computer up, I'll calculate all these variables, and we'll see if it's dangerous enough, or, you know.
That doesn't even translate to computer bad. That translates to my dad's a fucking idiot.
I mean, according to the
Which goes against one of the
calculations-
commandments. Sacrilege.
Yeah, no, the kid, you know, falls through the ice, drowns.
Okay, sure.
Should have, and like, there's a moment where the dad is home alone, presumably the kid is out skating, and like some weird intervention of God shit starts happening. Like suddenly his ink jar just kind of breaks, ink spills everywhere, and of course he's meant to be like, God's telling me my son is drowning.
He has a computer, yet he also has an what?
1989.
89.
Sure, but they would have had ballpoints.
I don't know what Poland was like.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is
Confiscated by the
that is
Soviets.
communist Poland.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, fair
like
enough.
right at the end, but still.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
still communist Poland.
Yeah.
But, you know, a few episodes have been very interesting. Thou Shall Not Kill was a very interesting episode. Thou
Murder
Shall Not
bad.
Commit Adultery, very interesting as well.
A lot of people fucking.
No, it's just about a stalker guy.
That's not what.
I mean, he's watching this lady go at it with some men, but
But that's not. Okay,
no, they have
that's
a whole
adultery.
interpretation. Yeah.
His is not adultery.
No.
It's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. But, like, I would recommend it if you're bored. Apparently, it's, like, a very big thing for film students to watch it. Because, like, all my classmates that study film were like, oh, yeah, I've been told to watch this so many times. I've seen it so many times. I'm like, I've never fucking
I'm gonna
heard
be
this."
real. I don't give a shit. If a film student tells me to watch something,
It
Yeah.
depends. If it's curriculum, I will listen.
I mean, sure, curriculum, fair enough. I get it. You need to watch that.
Yeah.
However, if a film student tells me to watch something like that, they are
Blocked.
someone's opinion I do not trust.
Fair.
They are blocked
100%.
from your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that... It's interesting if you're bored, but it's also kind of a nightmare to find, so don't bother. That's
I'd probably be able to find it.
yeah, no. So
yeah.
I got a week's notice to watch 10 hours of content. I'm not doing good.
Did they not give you like a resource to watch it from?
They were like, oh yeah, we have the DVDs in the library.
That's not. Oh my god. At least we had some like shitty streaming site that the college provided
Yeah.
whenever we had
Like,
to watch stuff.
I have like BOB and stuff. I hate BOB, Box of Broadcasts, because I think it's always just very shitty recordings. The subtitles never work right.
Yeah.
So I just find my own way,
Yeah.
which my lecturers tell me, like, look, we'll provide you with a way to watch it because we legally have to,
Uh-huh.
but find a better way if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
internet's right there.
yeah, like, come on. We all know a handful of places to
Yeah.
watch stuff. Come on. I also finally sat down to watch Squid Game season 2.
Oh, okay.
I keep telling myself I need to see it.
Yes,
I
Shaun.
think I'm at the point where I think I'm just going to wait for season 3 because everything I've heard about season 2 kind of comes down to it's very much kind of relying on season 3.
I think, is it interesting to watch? Yes. I get why people are upset, but I also think they're just little shits.
Elaborate.
Yeah, no, I'll elaborate. Season 1, we go through a full cycle of the game.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Why they're doing a sequel? Don't fucking know.
Fuck if I...
Money!
Should
Yeah.
they... Look, I hated that they ended the first season on... You have to go back. I hated it, because I think as a standalone, it would have been so much stronger.
Yeah.
But he then turned out, the writer was like, no, I wrote a 3-season arc all this time.
Did
and I was
he?
just hoping...
Are you sure? So I also heard reports that like the creator or the writer or whatever was like actively didn't want to at first, but then was like given all this money and they were just sort of like felt like they had to.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Look, there's multiple things, but he's definitely like 3 seasons, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there is an idea of where this is going.
Thank God.
And I think the problem that most people are having with this season is the fact that it doesn't go through a full game cycle.
Okay.
Which
So
I'm
it's
like,
inconclusive.
yes and no, because it has clearly a different goal to me if you follow our main character. His goal isn't to win the games.
Yeah.
We all know he has an ulterior motive. And so everyone being like, but who won the games? It's just so many people. I'm like, we knew we were never gonna get down to one
Yeah.
person again.
I wouldn't say that's the
stupid.
criticism I've heard of it.
That's what I've mostly been hearing, but tell me, yeah.
No, mostly what I've heard is like people have enjoyed it, but like they've enjoyed it, but like they feel like they kind of need to see season 3 to understand.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is interesting. We get some more background on like the people in the pink suits, which is very nice. But yeah, if I understand wanting to wait for season 3,
Yeah.
Manuel's in the same boat because at first he was like, "Yeah, I'll watch season 2 with you," and then someone told him like, "Oh, it's kind of just leaves at a cliffhanger," and he was like, "I'll just wait for season 3."
Yeah.
I was like, I need to see it now. I want to know. I want to know what happened. And it is an interesting season with a lot of good cameos from, the Korean pop world. So definitely having fun with that.
That I'm gonna just
I'm not gonna get.
gonna wash over me because I don't really know anything about.
Oh, that's just a shame.
No, I feel like
I listen to
it's fine.
some K-pop stuff, but like that's
Fair.
I'm
yeah.
probably gonna watch it like soon-ish. Depends on what I want to watch next.
Yeah.
Because I've told you that like, I think I told both of you actually. The next thing I want to think of is at least one more anime that's outside of like the show.
Yeah.
And I've had that Blu-ray for Berserk for so
Yes.
long. I need to watch it.
You have. I gave it to you a long time ago.
Yes. It's every time I open my wardrobe and like with like the shelves of like movies and stuff, I see it and it mocks me. So I'm gonna finally sit down and watch it, and then maybe after that I'm thinking maybe Squid Game season 2.
Nice, yeah. I have also seen a movie that I now really like, but I can recognize its faults. Dream Scenario. It's an
don't think I've
A24 film with Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it's about Nicolas Cage, who is like a teacher who suddenly starts appearing in everyone's dreams.
Oh, okay.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, but he doesn't really do anything. Everyone's like, you're
Shitty
just
Freddy-
kind of standing there not helping me. I'm like, I got hit in my car in my dream, and you're just standing there.
Shitty Freddy Krueger.
And so he gets upset, because he's like, come on!
Come
on, guys!
I'm in your dream here, man.
Yeah, like, I want to, I don't want to be known as, oh, the guy he's just kind of there. more people in the country start seeing him suddenly, but then he starts doing bad things in his dream.
Okay.
But so people start to be scared of him and dislike him. So, you know, his job as a teacher is in jeopardy because most of his students are fucking terrified of him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so it goes through that, and it's really interesting. Is he a passive protagonist? Absolutely.
Oh, great.
But I think it works out in this case because everything's kind of happening around him without him having, you know, influence.
Ah, okay, so it's
and
not
that's
Big
what he's
Lebowski.
struggling. No. He's just struggling with the fact that he can't do anything. Like, this whole dream thing happened without him doing anything. Yeah. And then suddenly he'd turned evil, but he didn't do anything. Like, come on. But then the last act, they just decide, oh no, we're just going to go a full different direction with everything. And now there's technology where we can be in dreams or some shit.
Oh,
and I'm like, this came out of fucking nowhere. It's not even a fucking spoiler because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's just suddenly sci-fi near the end?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like, now new, we have this thing where you put it on and then you can... Like, they put ads in dreams and stuff, and...
This is just the prelude to a cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, 2/3 of it is so fun, interesting, and terrifying. To then go, we can walk a tree! It's so fucking stupid. Yes! But yeah, Nick Cage, you know, there's a few scenes of him being in, like, horror scenarios in people's dreams. It's fucking beautiful. Because he, you know, they make him look like a pathetic man. Yeah. You know, slightly balding, just kind of the dad. He's a teacher, teaches some math shit. Oh no, zoology, I think.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was a class.
No, he just teaches about, like, animal intelligence or something, and he's upset. Yeah, it's all. I recommend watching it, but it does get fucking boring near the end.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, Nick Cage. Always love seeing a Nick Cage, especially after, you know, Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Imagining his character as, like, Heisenberg from, like, Resident Evil Village.
Oh yeah. Just there.
Yeah, just there.
Just there.
Big Nick Cage energy.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. No, it's fucking funny because even his daughter is, like, having dreams where she's like, I don't know, I'm, like, struggling with this thing, like, I'm floating up in the sky and I can't come down. And you're just kind of there, Dad. Why would you help me?
I'm trying to figure out the way over there.
I was like, it's your dream. I'm sorry.
What do you want me to do?
So yeah, no, I'm now starting my screenwriting part of my course, so I'm gonna have to watch a lot of movies. Thankfully, a lot of more newer and less. It's just this Polish thing that I have to get through, the Polish show, and then for next week, legit, it's Barbie.
Nice.
Wow, what a fucking whiplash.
And Jaws.
And Jaws.
And Nomadland.
Jarby.
Yeah. And Nomadland.
No Jarby's
from
Land.
Chloe Zhao.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we're really just
Going
mashing
everywhere.
some shit together and seeing who sticks. That's fun.
Jesus Christ.
What have you been consuming,
Oh,
Michael?
fuck, it's already on me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy, you guys ready to
great.
sit down? Because
Oh,
we've
God.
got a Lynch talk to talk about.
How?
Are we going to go through
How
Lynch
am I
now?
always the one that has the most?
Because you're the one that does fucking marathons.
Yeah, I
not
don't have the
intentionally.
time to do marathons.
Okay, so I watched every single David Lynch movie.
Oh, by the way, apologies to Manuel for not getting him here on
Yeah,
this episode.
I wish Manuel was here for this.
I'll let him know.
And that was, to put it lightly,
A journey.
a ride.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that it took me until him dying
Yeah.
to actually sit down and watch all of his stuff. Because I genuinely do have an immense amount of respect now, even more so than before, for him as a filmmaker. I think he's one of the best filmmakers to ever grace Hollywood. Shame that he ended his career on such a fucking wet fart for the theatrical side of things.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm not going to go through everything start to finish. I have a ranking of his theatrical stuff, and then I guess I'll talk about Twin Peaks. Okay, so
Because you can't help yourself.
yes, he has 10 movies, so it is a 10, you know,
Yeah.
so nice.
Best
A
of
good
worst.
amount.
Yeah.
You can tell he's not just pushing him out.
No.
Yeah.
So we'll start at number 10. The worst.
We all know.
Inland Empire.
Oh my god, what a fucking bore, I know. So for context, I've seen most of them because Manuel has a problem. I did not watch any by choice, I want to say.
Calling that out right now.
Yeah, but I have seen all of it, and I do have a respect for him as a filmmaker. It's just not my style.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. Inland Empire is his last theatrical movie.
And what a shame that is.
And what a fucking shame. Because holy fuck. That was one of the worst movies I have ever had the displeasure of watching. It is 3 hours long and nothing happens. Nothing happens. Mm-hmm. It is a collection of ideas that Lynch had eating lunch and just phoned up Laura Dern, Justin Theroux, fucking Jeremy Irons, and went,
Let's do the locomotion.
Let's do the locomotion for 5 seconds, and then we'll forget about it. Mm-hmm. Terry Crews, come on down, sit on a side street in LA, don't say a fucking word.
Does he not have like one?
He has one line.
Yeah.
It's worthless. It's literally him saying, "You didn't need to say that." That's it. That's his contribution to the film.
Thank you.
I think that kind of sums up most people's ideas on the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Not even Lynch knew what it was about.
No.
Laura Dern didn't know what it was about. No one involved knew what it was about. Why? Why? That is my biggest question for the movie. Is just simply why.
The cronies clip of her just screaming, but why?
Yeah.
That's basically Inland Empire to you.
Move on, because you're gonna get stuck.
Yeah. So next up is Dune.
Fair.
Which I want to say, despite Dune not being a great movie, there is leagues of a difference between Inland Empire and Dune. Like leagues.
Yeah.
Just massive. It's a gulf between the two of them.
A sand gulf.
It's it could have been great. That's the problem with it. Mm-hmm. But it is a 2.5 hour version of a 600-page book.
Yeah.
That you just do not have the time to cover everything from. Like, there are huge swaths of character development, plot points, actual characters completely gutted from the film, yet those characters are actually still in the film. Like, you've got Sting playing Faye Routher, who's like Paul's kind of like fated rival, I guess the way to put it. He's the nephew of Baron Harkonnen, and their relationship is very strange, to put it lightly. And all that shit's just cut from the film, but Sting's still there. He occasionally shows up. He shows up at first in the film just with a thong on.
Slay.
Yeah, but it's Sting, man.
It stung.
He then disappears until like the end of the movie, where he then fights Paul.
Cool.
So you have none of the character development. There is a whole plot point of him like his relationship with Baron Harkonnen, like his whole like character on Gaiety Prime, because Gaiety Prime's storyline is completely cut, and there's a whole like political side story that happens there that's really important to like the whole setup of the fucking universe and like how it all works in the political system, and like the whole like idea of rebelling against the Emperor, which is what Paul does. So yeah, it's so strange because we've seen Dune Part 1, the Denis Villeneuve version, and the first half of Dune by David Lynch is that movie essentially. Like they cover almost the same amount of story, and that's like an hour and a half of David Lynch's version. You only have an hour for the rest of it, so it is like start stop stop of a like bunch of different story elements. And then he fights Faye Routher, kills him, and then becomes Emperor, and it's like over, and you're like, what the fuck? It was meant to be like 3.5 hours. I think if it had been that long, it maybe actually would have been a very good movie. It's got better art direction than Denis Villeneuve's. Like, I love Denis Villeneuve's vision of it, but to say it's stark and boring is not wrong.
Not inaccurate.
It's not inaccurate. No, it is. It's very stark. It's very lacking in like a sense of grandiosity of an empire. It's all very like big blocky elements for some reason. Like it's so strange. It's, unless you've seen the films, it's hard to put into words. But like the ships are just big, kind of like triangles and stuff. It's very strange. Whereas there's that grandiosity of like empire to it. It's like there's a gold throne. The ship's a big fucking gold pyramid. There's a big space fish that technically control the universe, and you get to see those big space fish, whereas you don't get to see them in Denis Villeneuve's movie. So like the vision of the film is really good. The film itself sucks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is it is in a bad version of the events.
Yeah.
Shame.
Man, could have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move on to number 8, which
Number
is
8.
Number 8. Twin Peaks. I'm not going to do that. Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, which is the prequel to Twin Peaks. You can't watch it before you've seen Twin Peaks, or it's not going to make any sense. Not that most of it makes sense, even if you've seen
from
Twin
Lynch,
Peaks.
so
Here's the thing, though, is like Lynch is very good at giving you elements to understand the film. If you don't understand a David Lynch film, more than likely, except something like Mulholland Drive or Inland Empire, you've just not been paying attention. That's my view on it.
See, I disagree with that, because I think a messaging should be clear to the whole audience on the first watch, maybe second at most.
I've only seen all of these the first time, and I understand all of them except Inland Empire.
You've looked up, though, the meaning.
No, I haven't.
You told me you did in our call.
No, I did that for Eraserhead. That was the only one.
Okay.
But that's like his first film, so I kind of discount that in the sense of like clear messaging, because that's...
I don't think it's ever 100% clear. I think you can, finish the movie being like, I'm pretty sure it's about this, but I could be 100% wrong in that as well.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I'm like, about with Lynch. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that most of his films, except Eraserhead, because that I think is just like an artistically driven thing absolutely. Rather than being like an actual coherent story.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think the rest of his films are like, again, like I say, except Mulholland Drive, because I haven't cracked that one. I haven't looked it up because I want to crack it by myself. And then Inland Empire, which is just, again, it's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. I think every other film is like, there's something in there that makes it clear cut what the film is. Like, I think Lost Highway is the one that a lot of people point to as like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on. Blah blah blah. There's a line near the start of the film where the main character goes, "Oh, I don't like video cameras because I like to remember things how I remember them rather than actually how they happened."
Yes.
And like that is a great framing for how you understand that film. And then the ending, there's like a scene where you see him looking at a photograph, and then later you see other characters looking at the photograph, and so you get reality pulled into focus as a viewer, and then everything makes sense. That's David Lynch's style. That's how I find it. Anyway, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, different kettle of fish, because it was meant to be 3 movies.
Oh.
It's a prequel to the show. The show got cancelled. They made Fire Walk with Me with the intention of doing this as a prequel, a spin-off, and then a sequel film.
Yeah.
And they only did this one. So you have a collection of scenes at the start where it just forgets about all of that because that was meant to be the spin-off film.
Yeah.
And it ends with a certain messaging that sets up the sequel film that again didn't happen. The bulk of the film itself is just retreading storyline from the show. the whole show is centered around who killed Laura Palmer. It's one of the greatest pieces of television I've ever seen because it's so like, it takes that idea of like quaint small townshipness and like how everybody knows each other, the idea of community, and then what happens when someone is killed and you have to confront the idea that the version of that person you knew wasn't them. That they were someone more complicated, someone with a darker side, darker past, and so all of that's covered in the first season and a half as you learn about Laura Palmer. You don't get everything because she's dead. She can't tell you. It's only told through half told stories, half told truths, from characters' perspectives, from flashbacks, but all of it frames Laura as sympathetic because she's the victim and she had a troubled life. So you then watch Fire Walk with Me, which covers that story. You also know who killed her, and it just seems perverse. It doesn't feel sympathetic. It feels exploitative. You're just seeing someone descend into paranoia.
Oh, yeah.
And like them coming to the end of their life, and that's not when you already know everything. I don't know, it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It feels deeply unsettling and not in a way that is good to watch. It doesn't make for a good movie. A lot of people have come round on Fire Walk with Me. I can't say I understand why. I have seen a lot of people say that as victims of let's say sexual assault, it is actually more complicated than that and is actually a bit more fucked up than that, but for the sake of spoilers, I'll keep it at sexual assault. Have said it's a very true portrayal that's very like stark, and it doesn't pull back its punches. And if they find that helpful, great, but I think there's better ways to do it than to just exploit not only your main character, your main actress, because I forget her name, Cheryl Lee, who plays Laura Palmer, kind of never came back from playing this. It's not in the show, but just specifically this movie. She kind of said she never felt like she recovered from playing Laura in this film. So yeah, great show. Sucks that this happens right in the middle and you wouldn't get the answers for like 25 years.
Yeah.
After that, Wild at Heart, which is just kind of mid. Like, the best thing I could say about it is that it kind of just feels like Lynch was having fun.
Yeah.
Which is, you know...
Lynch watched The Wizard of Oz and was like, huh.
There's a whole documentary
No.
about his relationship with, like, The Wizard of Oz.
Oh my god.
It's called Lynch Oz, or Lynch and Oz. I'm genuinely curious to watch it, because, like, the description says, like, oh, it's an examination of all of his films and how they tie into The Wizard of Oz, and I'm like, the only one that ties into Wizard of Oz is Wild at Heart. Like, none of the other ones.
Are they gonna be like, you know, just trying to connect dots everywhere?
That's my kind of concern.
Yeah, because I don't think that would be truthful to do, because only Wild at Heart I see clear reference in there.
The documentary is called Lynch / Oz. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Like, when you say it, it's supposed to be just Lynch Oz or not. But I just wanted to get that.
Okay, thank you.
Just because you asked, and I was like, I'm going to look that up and just get that out there.
But yeah, Wild at Heart's like fine. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like,
it is a fine movie.
Yeah,
it's fine. It has flaws. It has fun moments. It's fine.
Yeah, it's unintentionally funny at times.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think it would have been funnier to just end on what Nick Cage calling a group of people a slur and then getting beaten to death.
Yeah, no,
like
absolutely.
That would have been
like, wow, we spent all this time for this.
That was
great.
The movie.
Yeah. I think the part that kind of bugs me the most is that Nick Cage is distractingly doing an Elvis impression the entire
Yeah,
film.
I don't know if that was the direction he was given or
I don't know.
creative choice.
I genuinely have no idea.
God, yeah.
And there's like, there's kind of no sexual chemistry for me between Laura Dern and Nick Cage.
No, absolutely not.
And they get freaky
yeah.
a lot in this film.
Yeah, no.
Uncomfortably so.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, unlike Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern, there's no chemistry between Nick Cage and Laura Dern. Like, it's so it kind of makes that part of the film a bit strange because you're like, I don't think he actually gives a shit about her. But anyway, yeah. Then there's Eraserhead, his first film, which, like, you know, coming out of the gate swinging with a strong creative piece.
Great visual pieces.
Oh, 100%. Like, that's kind of why I said, like, I kind of had to Google it because I don't think there's anything in the film that directly makes it simple to understand the visual imagery. Like, obviously the visual imagery kind of conveys what it is itself, but you have to then ask the question of, like,
is it?
what's the point? What's the purpose? Like, what is this trying to tell me? And David Lynch said at the time he kind of didn't know.
We know.
We know now. Like, he was scared of being a parent. Like, that's unbelievably clear.
Yes.
But it's also like a strange kind of like, not examination, but like perspective of sex and promiscuity, and like how Jack Nance's character kind of, in any of the quote-unquote sex scenes, which are never depicted as people having sex, it's a bit more abstract than that. He's kind of just like curiously observing, even though he's the one like involved. Like, he is the man. He is doing the thing.
He's the guy doing the thing.
But it's almost like a strange curiosity rather than like him deriving like any pleasure. It's almost like he doesn't really understand that what he has done as, one, meant to be pleasurable, but also two, led to the creation of another life. It's a deeply bizarre movie. It's okay. It's good. It's a good movie.
It's slow.
Yeah.
But like, it fits the world how slow it is. It makes sense.
Yes, 100%.
But still, there are moments where you're just kind of finding yourself tapping your foot. It's like, get on with it.
And I also don't think the very intentional sound design of like having something consistently, because it's like a very kind of, it takes place in like an industrial town, and so it's meant to reflect that kind of like weird modernity of industriality and that incessant soundscape that's
noise
there,
there.
So there's always something droning, something humming, something kind of, and that for a film experience that's like 2 hours long can be a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He also did all the music for it himself too, which is insane. But yeah, good movie. Like, I don't think I'd recommend it to anyone as their first experience with David Lynch.
No, but it's definitely, if you are gonna watch a lot of David Lynch stuff, it should definitely be in the recommended.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Then I think the only one that Manuel hasn't actually seen is up next, which is The Straight Story. Easily his most accessible film, because it's his only normal one.
It's a straight story.
It literally is a straight story, in the sense that it is a road film where a old man travels to see his brother who's had a stroke to make amends because they haven't spoken in 10 years.
That sounds so normal for Lynch.
It is. No, it legitimately is.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. That's all it is. It sometimes plays with his Lynchian setup in that you think something's about to happen. Something is going to go disastrously wrong. And it never does. I guess it's a spoiler to say that he gets there in the end.
No.
And meets the brother.
No.
But it's so well done. Like, it's him meeting different people on his travels and like just kind of telling his life story as he goes along and like instilling some wisdom into people. Like, he meets a girl who's trying to run away from home. When he first sets out on the journey, he's camping out in the middle of the field and he meets this young girl and she's running away from home because she's pregnant. She's like 16, 17. She's fell pregnant, and this is like rural America, so kind of conservative. She's worried that her parents are gonna reject her, disown her. And, you know, he gives her some sage advice to go back to her family and stuff like that. And eventually she does. He wakes up in the morning, she's left a note saying thank you, and she's gone home. And then he goes to a small town, and they like fix his tractor, because he does this all in like a small like garden grass cutter tractor thing.
Neat.
And they repair it, and it's like, you know, just talking about his life. He goes to this bar and he has this full conversation with like an older man about his time during World War II, and it's genuinely like a really emotional film for a film where not a lot happens, and like the cathartic release at the end is so incredibly well done. They just sit down, and it's Harry Dean Stanton plays the brother, and he just asks him, "Did you come all the way here to see me on that?"
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
It just gets you.
Yeah, no, it does.
I'm crying.
Yeah, I can see that. Good.
That's crazy. Sorry, that's crazy. I started crying at that. But yeah, then number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4. Mulholland Drive.
Yes.
Easily the best 2.5 hours that I did not fucking understand.
Yeah.
The sexual chemistry between Naomi Watts and Laura, what's her name? Laura Denig?
I have no idea.
Laura Harring. Is crazy. Because at first you're thinking, this is 2001, there's no way.
Yeah. You're seeing things.
I'm seeing things. Yeah. And then in the middle of the movie, they fuck. And you're like, oh, okay.
Okay. Damn.
And then Laura Harring disappears. And you're like, huh?
Oh man,
What?
I love Doom Fury.
It's so bizarre, because you think you're just getting an idea of where the film's gonna go, and then the film does not go that way. And then the film goes in like multiple different directions, and by the end I was like, I thought I had an idea of what this was.
By the end of the movie is a spider web.
Literally, it's crazy. But you know, I want to watch it again so I can try and see if I understand it better. It's the only one where I've kind of not come away with a strong sense of what the actual what it was about.
The point.
Pretty much, yeah. No, legitimately, I have no idea what the point of the film was.
Great experience though, from the sounds of it.
No, 100%. Then number 3 we got Lost Highway, which is great film.
They ever find it? I'm sorry. Don't you roll your eyes at me.
No,
you don't like Lost Highway.
No, I was thinking, is there a highway that we're like...
There's like a visual imagery of like him driving down, which sort of ties into the ending, kind of. It's a little strange. The ending's kind of a bit open-ended. We get resolution to the story, but there's like an openness to the way it ends.
An open road.
Quite literally, yeah. It's, if you've ever played Silent Hill 2, that is kind of the plot of Lost Highway.
I am grinning from ear
along with the whole identity crisis that comes along with that.
Damn. Hold on, I gotta check it. When did Lost Highway come out?
Came out 97.
Damn. So, yeah, that very much could have just been a straight up. We'll just take this.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, it is that idea of like, I mentioned it earlier, I don't remember things how they actually happened. I remember them how I remember them, which is, you know,
how I want to remember.
How I want to remember them. Memories are faulty by default. And as someone in the film who goes through an identity crisis, that also layers on top of it. So I can understand how people can watch it and not really get it, or not enjoy it, especially. Like, I think this is actually the one where I think I get why this is divisive. But I think it's great. Is it a bit long? Maybe, yeah. It is a film of two halves. I think is the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
And it leads you down the garden path for a long time before going, here, this is what's happening. This is what's happened.
This is where you get off.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it takes a long time from the inciting incident for the film to go, here's the final puzzle piece to understand everything. And that's a bit That's sort of my only issue with the film.
But then you've got like the last half after that.
No.
Okay.
You have to watch the entire thing.
Okay, sorry.
Which is, it's split kind of in half, where I guess it's not a spoiler to say the main character changes halfway through.
I mean, changes is already very much. Did he?
At first, that's how it's presented.
Just spoil it for me. I'm not gonna.
Okay, so the whole premise is Bill Pullman is living with his wife. He's a jazz musician, which is not...
That sequence is too much.
Yeah, it's not important to the film,
No.
but they make a point of it for some reason.
You don't
fucks...
like jazz?
Not
No,
like
he
that.
fucks that sax.
Wait, oh god.
He enjoys playing a bit too much.
Yeah,
Oh.
and the light. Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, I was tempted to like, you mean like literally?
No,
Because I believe
Like
literally
he is on stage just
going.
shitting the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
sax.
Yeah.
And eventually he wakes up one morning and she's dead in the bedroom. And
Well, you mentioned Silent Hill too, so I know what happened.
so he gets arrested. He gets put in prison. And then
I mean, there's a lot of trippy shit that happens
Yes.
before this.
Uh-huh.
But yes.
But I'm kind of trying to give the they also like before this they've like received videotapes that show the house, like inside the house.
Okay.
And then he gets a videotape that morning, sees the body in the bedroom, goes through to the bedroom, there's the body. He then gets arrested, put in prison, and one morning they're checking the prisoners as they do, and someone looks in and is like, that's not Bill Pullman. It is a completely different guy. So he gets let out, goes to a whole different family, because he's like a teenager,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
He works at like an auto shop, repairs cars from mafioso,
As you do.
meets this blonde woman who looks strikingly like Bill Pullman's wife, fucks the shit out of her. To quote one of the detectives who are following him,
Yep.
he gets more
Watching.
pussy than a toilet seat.
Yep.
What?
No, that's a line.
Yeah, that's an actual line.
I know, I believe it, because that does not sound like something you just say
No.
out of pocket.
Yeah.
Classic Michael.
Classic.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just said that.
I mean, I would say that because it's also in an Eminem song.
Oh.
I mean, actually, yeah, that's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah,
when
it's
you
from...
said it, I was like, that's from a song.
It's from Shake That by Eminem, yeah, which I can only imagine he lifted from David Lynch.
Yeah.
What a connection.
What a connection.
Wow.
So he also has like a girlfriend. She has a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His girl next door girlfriend.
Yes. Who he also fucks. So he fucks her. He fucks the mafioso's girl, who looks like Bill Pullman's wife. He gets in too deep because the mafioso finds out.
No shit.
They try to kill some of the people involved with the mafioso because the blonde girl's being sexually exploited. Rammstein plays when they kill one of them.
Marilyn Manson. I don't know if this is worth mentioning.
When does Marilyn Manson
Was
play?
he not in one of the videos I was playing in the house at the end?
Oh,
The mansion?
maybe. I only remember them using the same Rammstein song 4 times.
I think so.
4 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they kill this guy. Like he trips. They don't intentionally try to kill him. They just want to hurt him, and
Knock
he
him out,
falls. And he's got a glass table, and his head goes straight through the corner.
Yeah.
Rammstein plays.
Oh, cool.
Inexplicably. He goes up to the bathroom to clean himself, opens the bathroom door, sees the blonde girl fucking someone else. Rammstein plays. I don't know why.
Cool. I guess.
He then comes down and the girl's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he leaves. Rammstein plays again. He's being chased by the police. He meets this guy who he met earlier in the film when he was still Bill Pullman, who said, "I'm in your house." And Bill Pullman's like, what the fuck do you mean? You're here in front of me. And he's like, no, I'm in your house. You invited me in.
Yeah, call me. Call your house.
Call your house. Yeah,
Yeah.
he calls his house. This guy picks up. He then meets this guy again, and the guy asks him who he is. They fight. He turns back into Bill Pullman. The guy's gone. He drives to his house, and he says over the intercom that someone's dead, which is something he heard at the beginning of the film over the intercom. And during this whole sequence, when they've accidentally killed this guy, he looks at a photo and he says, 2 people, the blonde girl and Bill Pullman's wife. And he's like, is that your sister? And she only points to it and says, that's me. She only points at the blonde one and says, that's me. Cut to the detectives in the house examining the dead body. One of them goes over to the photo. It's just Bill Pullman's wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
He killed his wife and had an identity crisis.
That's basically what I got. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucky movie. I get why people are very divided on it and may not like it. To me, I think it's trippy enough that like it conveys its idea of like killing your wife and having an absolute fucking mental breakdown about it.
As you do.
As you do. Not quite as clear cut and powerful or as concise as Silent Hill 2.
Because that has a similar setup where we've talked about it already.
Yeah.
Very short version. James Sunderland, the main character of Silent Hill 2, goes for a very similar thing. The only difference is his wife had gone through an illness beforehand, and that was so him killing her was the result of like years and years of like 3 years of a breaking point basically. The illness would really making her suffer and stuff, and there was verbal abuse going on, and eventually just in a bit of madness basically kills her in their bed. He goes to Silent Hill because that's where they had their honeymoon, and then he just has a mental breakdown because Silent Hill's a fucky town.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Similar. Yeah.
Great game. Emotionally devastating.
Yeah.
Then, speaking of emotionally devastating...
Oh boy, devastating?
Number 2. I'm just moving past it. I'm not gonna...
I'm not.
Don't acknowledge it.
The Elephant Man.
Which Manuel refuses to watch.
Oh, beautiful film.
Because he doesn't want to cry.
Oh, man. He will fucking sob
Ball
his heart out at the end of the film.
That's why he doesn't want to watch it, because he knows.
It's unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah.
Watch it, Manuel.
Yeah, no, he genuinely needs to watch it.
I know.
It is David Lynch's second film. So you watch Eraserhead, if you do what I did and watch them in chronological order, you watch Eraserhead, weird ass movie. Then you get one of the most human experiences you've ever seen committed to film with fucking Anthony Hopkins and
John Hurt?
John Hurt, thank you. And it's incredible. It's such a weird shift, but it's still one of his best films. It's I can't actually put into words how I feel about it. It's just
it speaks for itself.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think it's a film everybody needs to see. It's a hard watch at times. You know, you're seeing someone being mistreated just on the sheer fact of their deformities from birth. Like, they don't have control over that. And obviously it's set in like 1889. It's like Victorian London or whatever.
Yeah.
I imagine very loosely based on
it's based on a real story. Yeah.
From like the basic synopsis I know, which is based like just basically probably the beginning of the film, like it's very loosely based on.
I think most of it's actually like kind of heavily based on it. There's Lynchian elements.
I just know the opening has the elephant actually birth them.
It's actually a bit stranger than that.
Oh, okay.
The film posits that she was like trodden on by an elephant and then gave birth to him. But it does it in Lynchian style visual imagery.
You're like, okay, yeah.
So actual elephant man, whereas the actual guy was just the horn.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He looks remarkably similar.
Yeah.
Though he was called the Elephant Man in real life.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying the reason I'm saying loosely based is because in the film he's an actual elephant man.
No, he's not. But he's just physically deformed.
I may have misread this.
No, in the film, it's again Lynchian visual imagery, so it's weird. But the way Anthony Hopkins explains it is that his mother was pregnant with him during the fetal stage. She was on safari somewhere, and an elephant knocked her over and trampled on her, and she gave birth to him.
Right then and there.
So
way
okay,
premature.
sorry.
I
was dumb. I misread the synopsis. I thought like the implication was that somehow she'd gotten pregnant from the elephant.
No.
And I was like,
no,
that sounds Lynchian enough.
Yeah, no.
That sounds Lynch.
It's surprisingly kind of.
Sorry, that was my big bad. My big bad.
Other than like a few things being changed, like names, and then like obviously some things to fit a more filmic plot, it's very true to the real life story.
Okay, yeah. That's nice.
But it's very, very good. I highly recommend everybody watch it.
Yeah, I'm. It's one of the ones I'm actually really tempted to get, along with Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and then top of my list.
Speaking of
Dun, dun, dun.
Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet, yeah.
Blue Velvet, man. Oh,
Look at me.
Dennis Hopper's just an insane man in that film. But for me, it's Kyle MacLachlan that carries that. Like,
absolutely.
An incredible actor. It's funny going from Dune, where like that's his first ever film performance. I'm giving him a pass.
Yeah.
He's not great in it though. And then you watch Blue Velvet and it's like, oh wow, you are incredible. You're a great actor. And then I've watched obviously everything else he's been in with David Lynch. He was in Twin Peaks, and it's like, yeah, no, you are a very incredible actor. It's such a bizarre movie, and I don't mean that in like weird way. I mean like things just keep happening, and you're like, okay. Again, this is about a guy who fucks two different women and has to reconcile with the consequences of that.
Yeah, it says a lot about Lynch.
It does, yeah. He has 4 kids and so many mistresses.
Jesus
He
Christ.
married them.
He married some of them.
Yep.
Didn't marry Isabella Rossellini, who's in this movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, you could cut the sexual tension between Laura Dern and Kyle MacLachlan in this movie with a fucking knife. It's crazy. Except the one line where she's like spilling her heart out to him, and he's just like, "You're a neat gal."
I just took that as he didn't pay attention to a single
No, he was not listening. He was.
You're a neat gal.
You're so cool.
You're so silly.
I recommend if anybody wants to start like watching Lynch stuff, I think Blue Velvet's like a great place to start. It's a balance of like his less weird and weird stuff. It's because it's like you think it's kind of normal, and then you get like halfway through and some weird stuff starts happening, and like it evens out as the film gets later on. So it's like that. It's a good balance, and it's just one of the best films ever made. Yeah, arguably. So yeah, that's my Lynch list.
Wow.
I also watched Twin Peaks, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
A bit disappointed on how season 2 ends, because like it just stops dead, because they didn't expect to get cancelled. And then you watch Fire Walk with Me, which is another disappointment, because why did you do a prequel? And then you get to The Return 25 years later, and it somehow in 18 hours of television pays everything off and is one of the best pieces of television. Twin Peaks is great because it's easy watching. Twin Peaks The Return is some of the best prestige television you've ever seen. Episode 8 is a real litmus test though of like, are you a Lynch fan or are you not? Are you a Lynch fan or are you a Twin Peaks fan? Because there is a big difference.
Episode 8 of the first season or
The Return. Because The Return is Eraserhead dialed up to 11, establishing some of the underlying elements of the Twin Peaks story. And it's so weird.
Nice.
It starts with like a fucking 8-minute sequence of a nuclear explosion with like no dialogue. In fact, I think most of the episode has no dialogue whatsoever. It's not until I believe I think the first 36 minutes have no dialogue, and then at the end it's only like a handful of lines, and one of them's just repeated over and over again. It's crazy weird, but like then you watch the rest of it and you're like, wow, that was incredible. And again, Kyle MacLachlan, great actor. He actually plays a passive protagonist for a majority of The Return, and it's great because you also spend most of it wondering, why is nobody questioning this man's mental stability?
You sent me like multiple clips.
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Like brain is not on.
No, it's really not. There's
no one seems to be reacting to it.
Wait, you want to know how he gets like functionality back.
Wow.
So
You just
this
get
is
smacked.
the second last episode. He's sitting eating cake in the dining room, and he looks over at a wall socket.
No.
And he grabs his fork.
No.
And he crawls along the floor and just shoves it into the. And he gets electrocuted, goes into a coma,
Well, yeah.
and then at the end of the episode wakes up and he's fucking Dale Cooper again. He just suddenly gets everything back.
He just pressed the reset
He
button.
just
Yeah,
pressed the
yeah. He
seat.
did a Control-Alt-Delete on his
Yeah.
brain.
Wow.
Then he clones himself.
Fair.
Sure.
Fair. I would have done, yeah.
Yeah, the return's weird. Like, people say Twin Peaks is weird. It's not actually that strange. And then the return happens, and you're like, "Oh, this is weird. This is the weird stuff."
Where would Twin Peaks be on your list?
Oh, I mean, it's a TV thing, so like it's really hard to
different,
compare because you
yeah.
got like 48 hours worth of stuff to watch.
If you had to.
You can split the return and Twin
Yeah, you can
Peaks.
split.
Okay,
next
yeah,
season if you
I
want.
would, because like the return is very different. It's very
Yeah.
much something else entirely. The original run is like above everything else because I watched the whole thing in like 5 days. Like, it's easy watching.
Wow.
It's great television. Like, it's genuinely incredibly well written, and whenever Lynch is in the director's seat, it's incredibly well directed. But it's so incredibly easy to watch because it's essentially just a soap opera with like weird stuff tacked on top of it. So like, you understand the characters, you understand what's going on. It's great binge watching TV. The Return is probably like just below Blue Velvet for me. It's incredible. It took me a little longer to get through it just on the sheer fact that like so much was happening. And like episode 8 was a real like, I gotta just digest this, man. That I had to take a break. So I think, yeah, Twin Peaks, the original run, it's just a shame that it ends that way. But at least now, like, you got everything there. You got the Return, so you can just move on to that immediately. Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, the Return, and then obviously the whole list that I just listed. So
Nice.
yeah, that's probably where I'd put it.
Nice.
It feels weird putting TV stuff
Yeah.
in a list like that. They're so vastly different. It's hard to make the comparison. But yeah. Wow. That's 1 hour 25 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Shit.
So yeah, anyone else got anything else they want to bring up?
I'm all good.
I'm very tired.
Okay. Actually, I want to go back real quick. I'm not going to spend too long on this. You mentioned Dream Scenario, the Nick Cage film, and then it gets really weird at the end, and like the whole sci-fi techno stuff. So I watched a film called Pulse, which is a psychological horror film from Japan, directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Not related to Akira Kurosawa, I just want to mention that. Which starts as like a... It sort of starts as like a film about how the early internet, 'cause it was 2001 or 2 or 3, somewhere around that era, how despite like it had this weird prescience of we're going to be more connected than ever. People are talking on chat boards and forums and they feel like they're being more connected, but we're more lonely. And it's kind of about that obsession with loneliness and then the subsequent obsession with death and how that can drive people to death. Then suddenly, near the end, when you're kind of thinking, where's this actually going? You're like, they start talking about like what happens when the realm of the dead is filled up. Where are they gonna go?
Where the fuck did that come from?
Which is sort of like a weird thing that's been seeded a little bit through the film, and they talk about like rooms being sealed off with red tape, and that's the start of the invasion. But it's so sudden where like eventually there's just 2 of the main characters and no one else in the world, and they are like trying to like leave. They get on a train and then it stops and she like runs home and then she kills herself. Or she disappears. I don't know. It's a bit weird. He then meets one of the other main characters because there's like 2 plot lines going on. The 2 plot lines merge. They're trying to escape. They're going for like a boat. And as they're driving around, you realise like this is like Walking Dead like levels of apocalyptic. And then, like, she's trying to get on the boat. Like, the other guy, main character's, like, collapsed, passed out. Because he went into one of the rooms, he met one of the ghosts or something, and, like, I don't know, had a conversation and passed out.
Okay.
So she tries to get him onto a boat. And as she goes into, like, a store to get more gas for a car or something, there's just a big fucking plane comes down and, like, explodes in the distance. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is a film that starts about college students using the internet, seeing weird stuff, friends then killing themselves or disappearing, and it evolves into the world is ending and there's only a handful of us left. And I'm like, huh? It's so bizarre. It just reaches a level of ridiculousness that's hard to follow. Well worth watching the movie because it has some of the best sound design you'll ever encounter. And if I ever hear someone say Taskete in my ear, I will flip my shit because it's only a stereo sound mix because of the time it was made and like cheap budget. But I genuinely was watching this in my room on the sound bar, like which is far like 6 feet away, and it felt like it was set like right in my ear, and I was like,
That's good.
no, fuck off. But no, genuinely, some of the sound design is incredible because like it actually, like, at multiple times I would like fully just
shiver,
tense up, like my body would involuntarily just but yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up.
For the people listening in, he just became a box.
Bogus Binted. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Anime Lane. Fuck off. No, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.